Hi, my name is Isaac Dixon. I am excited to be here virtually. I apologize to not be in person, but I graduated from Utah State University last May, and then I'm starting my PhD at Notre Dame this fall. So to talk a little bit about this paper, I'm very honored to be in this issue of the Journal of Student Leadership. And I want to say thank you to my co-author and mentor, Brett Crane, for helping me, teaching me, and helping me through this process and playing a big role in the development of this paper. So the origin of this story happened actually during the COVID pandemic. I know we were all affected in different ways. Thankfully, myself and my family were protected from getting hospitalized or having any of the big physical effects of COVID, and none of us thankfully passed or as a result of that, and I'm very grateful. However, I did experience some mental health struggles as a result of this, the resulting shutdown, and as I know a lot of people did. And so I guess during that time, I would actually happen to be reading Nelson Mandela's autobiography, and I had the question. I thought, how do leaders, like a lot of leaders in history seem to have faced a significant trauma, and then they went on to be incredible leaders and influence their countries or organizations in pivotal ways. So I wondered, how does trauma or adversity influence the way a leader is able to develop and grow? And is there a case where trauma and adversity actually contributes to their leadership abilities? There's a few theoretical streams that, as we looked into the literature, informed this model. One of them is post-traumatic growth, which is rooted in, it's kind of the antithesis to post-traumatic stress, and has to do with how individuals who face trauma or periods of extreme adversity then grow and become or develop as individuals as a result. Kind of the antithesis again to PTSD. Another one it includes developmental job experiences, and that those are in an organization. When an employee is given a task that is challenging, some will perceive it as a challenge and overcome it and develop greater competencies as a result, whereas some will become stressed, and it sometimes increases employee turnover. The third theoretical basis that they contribute to this model has to do with acceptance and commitment therapy in the psychology literature, and that has to do with emotional acceptance and lends helpful insights into the practical applications of the model. So the model really has to do with how a leader who faces trauma or adversity, which really includes many, if not all leaders at some point in their development, is able to sometimes how are they able to increase their leadership competency as a result. And the four moderators or mediators in the model that we created include productive framing of that traumatic event, cognitive engagement with it, their effective appraisal of their experience, and then finally the emotional acceptance that has to do with the emotions that they feel. And then those are the mediators. And then finally, as this theory was developing, mindfulness meditation mindfulness meditation arose as a clear moderator in terms of a practical application that leaders could take to influence these four mediators. And that, I guess, in line with the purpose of this journal and the practical applications of leadership development, it lined up, and that made a lot of sense, as mindfulness meditation has a lot to do with acceptance and commitment therapy and is closely linked with emotional acceptance. And there are strong ties with, as you'll see if you decide to read the paper, that we found that led us to propose that it could moderate the relationships of these mediators in this adversity to leadership development model. So our hope is that as we better understand the process by which leaders process or go through adversity and are able to then resultingly grow, leaders will be more proactively able to become better leaders as a result of the trauma that they face, that they'll inherently go through during their leadership development journeys. So if you do read the paper, I hope you enjoy it, and again, I'm grateful to be a part of this issue.